When it comes to group assignments, I have a headache because making a decision is really hard.
It's not about choosing an academic topic, but choosing a teammate. And trust me, sometimes things could end in a very unexpected way. Last year, I met a dilemma. One of my friends came to me and wanted to join our group for making a final project in our statistics class. However, due to the different paces in our study schedule, I feel like it may be the best to work with my original team. But she is my friend, so I sort of stressed out. Should I just tell her how I actually feel, or should I just accept my being a patient mentor fate because she is my friend? And yes, she is my friend. Friends are supposed to help each other, so I sort of couldn't decline her request. In the end, I received a score that I personally didn't expect, but she was satisfied with it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not blaming her. She did what she could, and I don't want to be hard on her. But that sort of leaves me with the option of being hard on myself. So this year, when some of my other friends came to me and said, "Hey, mind if I join your group in theater class?" I said, "Sorry, but I don't really like the idea of using AI or Chinese translational work. It's a waste of our time to sort of beta read and check your grammar, so maybe next time." After I said these words in a very calm tone, my mind freaked out, like screaming in a crazy voice, "That sounds extremely harsh and selfish." But to my surprise, they weren't hurt by the hurtful comments. Instead, they appreciated the sincerity I gave. And that felt great, actually. So it was that moment I said to myself, perhaps being a little selfish isn't bad at all. In reality, we all face the issues that whether we should express ourselves about our true feelings. And perhaps most of the time, we don't. According to a website called Psychology for Mental Health, social pressure affects our decision-making. Social pressure refers to the influence exerted by society, group, or individual to a person's attitude and behaviors. And there are different types of social pressure, such as peer pressure, normative pressure, and informational pressure. When you enter a new environment, for example, your first day at school, you see there are already kids who have friends, but you're left out. How will you feel? Perhaps a little lonely, right? That's because people experience peer pressure, desiring for social approval and fearing of left out. When you join an interview, you may wear clothes that are formal, even when your style is casual. Normative pressure is driving you to fit in, so you don't seem not normal in a group. And think about your math exams, for example. How will you respond when your classmates said, "Hey, that answer was B, but in fact you choose C"? Assumptions that majority equals correctness may cause to poor outcomes, causing anxiety and unwillingness to speak for yourself. And also, hierarchy is another factor we weigh when processing our minds. I'm sure everyone in school has an experience that your head teacher came to you and say, "Hey, you free? Want to help out?" But actually, you are free, but perhaps you want to enjoy some of your own time. Unless you've mastered the art of refusal, you possibly would just take the task. So, art of refusal, huh? The first thing that you should mark clear to yourself is, what do you want? Do you want to go to your head teacher's office to accompany your friend? Do you want to make a toast in front of your distant relative at dinner? And then think, what's in it for you? Is it beneficial for you to give your notes to your classmate who is absent? And for instance, when a waiter comes to you and say, hey, mind if you use your 大众点评 to give a good, favorable review to our restaurants? Or maybe a passenger, you don't even know who she is and says, I want to switch seats for you. In some occasions, you might just say yes, and it's fine, it's okay. But when you don't feel like you want to do so, it's also okay. This April, I had a discussion with Mr. Howell, my AP Literature teacher. We discussed about enabling. This is a word that describes a pattern of behavior that inadvertently supports or encourages another person's dysfunctional behavior. It stems from a good intentional desire to help an individual, but might ultimately hinders their personal growth. Because I didn't have the courage to step out and say no to my classmate when she constantly asked me to film my literature classes for her, it almost became a routine whenever she's absent. So I feel stressed out, so I seek help. Even till today, Mr. Howell's words still rings in my mind. When the first time someone comes to you, it's fine. The second time is fine too. But after that, you may be tangled and then strangled by the burden that wasn't even yours to concern in the first place. So learning to reject is not just a good thing that shows maturity, but also a necessary lesson in skill. Sometimes we might just be overwhelmed by the invisible socializing norms or morality that we forget that rejection is a right, that we forget to follow by our own heart. No, I don't like it. I don't want to. These words alone can be a direct reason. And guess what? You don't have to add another explanation. Eleanor Roosevelt once said, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. And it's my belief that those who really love and care about you will respect your no, whether if it's firm or gentle as well. So perhaps sticking to your original plan, feeling a little stressed out, even though you fear that you may say that to your friends is a bad thing, or in other words, being a little selfish, isn't harmful at all.